April McClain Delaney, a former U.S. Commerce Department official, is running for Maryland's 6th Congressional District. As the wife of the district's former Congressman John Delaney and a tech policy official in the Biden administration, she's no stranger to Washington politics. However, her opponent, Republican Neil Parrott, has run for this seat twice before and has served as a state delegate since 2011. Delaney will need to work hard to build name recognition and rally support from all communities in the district, including Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders. Supported by the Maryland Democratic Party AAPI Diversity Leadership Council, Delaney campaigned in Montgomery County's AAPI communities in September, right after House lawmakers returned to Washington. That week, House discussed over 24 measures aimed at countering China's technological, political, and economic influence, earning it the nickname China Week. At the same time, Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump baselessly claimed during the presidential debate that immigrants are eating pets, sparking fear among various immigrant communities, including the AAPI's nationwide. Many AAPI Marylanders therefore voiced concerns to Delaney, worried about being scapegoated once again amid rising U.S.-China tensions and a deteriorating border crisis. They asked how she would support immigrant communities and AAPI communities in particular if elected to Congress this November. Ahead of the campaign event, Yuan Media conducted an exclusive interview with Delaney talking about these issues.
I probably would not have voted against the bill. We are a global economy. We need to make sure that we protect our national security and our economic security, that we have innovation, and that we are very much looking at our U.S. competitiveness in a global environment. I understand, the difference between, looking at how we have our own American citizens and those who are from the AAPI community, but also those who are just studying here, or professors, or part of our research institutions. We should welcome that in America, and we should welcome their contributions and what they do for us in terms of our economic environment. Having said that, you understand that there is at times our national security, and we have to look at intellectual property theft. We have to look at surveillance issues, and so that it is a careful balance. Well, I think our immigrant community here, the AAPI community, has had an incredibly positive impact, and particularly, the Chinese community here within our 6th district, within the state of Maryland, has been incredible. Many of the Chinese Americans, or those who are just immigrants here, have come to bring small businesses, to bring their culture, to bring a lot of their incredible training in math and in science and in research and development. So those are incredible contributions to America and to our innovation. And so, we welcome them. I really am concerned about some of the hate crimes and racial profiling that has started. And I think that is inflamed by, when you start to have pieces of legislation by certain parties that maybe ignite fears. But for me, the balance is making sure that we have unity, that we have inclusion, that we appreciate a lot of the contributions. I think that it is a matter of figuring out ways that we can be inclusive and support our communities, and making sure that there's not discrimination, that they're included, and that they have access to all of the service and education for their communities and for their children. I think it was a random Facebook post about an immigrant eating a household pet, and that was used by extremists to inflame, to encourage division, fear, distrust, and it's a dividing of our country. And I think that we need to turn the page on that type of division. We need to turn the page on these type of inflammatory remarks. And I should back up and say, I ran for Congress because I am a common sense, common ground Democrat, dedicated to getting things done and to bringing us together for our most pressing solutions. And I really want to fight back against extremist radicalism that inflames and divides us. I think we need to secure our borders, and we need to really fix this asylum mess. Listen, I am a big supporter of immigration, but I think there should be a legal pathway to immigration. I do believe that we should have more work visas and an ability to come here and work legally. But you know, the backlog that we have with asylum is ridiculous now. Sometimes it's 2, 3, 4 years. People come into the country, they go, and you don't see them for a long period of time. And I think it also sends a message to those that were lawful and legal in following the process and following the rules all the way through. So there was a bipartisan piece of legislation about fixing just this. Had more border security, more border agents, greater technology at the border to really, stop, those coming in. But it also had more pathways to legal citizenship, issues about DACA and our dreamers so that they had a way to come in, and really more resources for asylum so that people who do declare it, that it could be expeditiously and quickly adjudicated. These are common sense ways to deal with our immigration because we cannot open our borders. That is like one of my top priorities because I think the Asian American communities they're growing in the 6th District. There are many in Up County, Montgomery County, and Frederick, but I actually think they're real they are starting so many businesses. They are involved with so many of our research institutions. They're such a driver of innovation and of entrepreneurship and small business. And really our jobs and our communities are driven by these small businesses. And we also need more communities as focused as AAPI on STEM and really investing back into our communities. So I think the AAPI community is a top place for me to reach out for additional contact, but to follow up. I really think constituent services are really important, that you are responsive to the communities that contact you.
Recent polls show Delaney and her Republican opponent Parrott are neck and neck. Once a solid Democratic district, Maryland 6 has grown more diverse in recent years, making it the state's most competitive congressional race in the upcoming general election. I'm Ping Ping Yin in Gaithersburg, Maryland for Yuan Media.